In life, we often face challenges from all sides, from work pressure, family conflicts, to invisible worries from ourselves. But what can help us overcome all of that? Stoic philosophy, with a history spanning centuries, has inspired and guided many generations on how to overcome life's barriers. Today, we will explore 10 powerful Stoic principles that will help you not only face but also conquer the challenges around you. Join me as I dive into each principle, from the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca. These philosophies are not just theories, but practical advice that you can apply today. If you find any of the principles resonate with you, please share your thoughts in the comments. Part 1. Focus on what you can control. In our daily lives, we often find ourselves caught up in the whirlwind of things we cannot control: the weather, the way others treat us, unexpected events, or the outcome of a particular endeavor. This can leave us feeling helpless and stressed. However, Stoic philosophy reminds us that in order to live a happy and peaceful life, we must learn to focus on what we can control and let go of what we cannot. The key to this principle is recognizing the line between what we can and cannot control. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "We cannot control what happens to us, only how we react to it." This is a powerful reminder for each of us to keep our mind steady and not be swayed by external factors. Ask yourself, what can you do in this situation to improve it or keep yourself calm? If the answer is nothing, let it go. When you understand that focusing on what you can control reduces stress and anxiety, you realize that you don't need to waste energy trying to change things that are out of your control. This doesn't mean you don't care or do anything, it just means you focus on your own actions, your decisions, your choices, and your thoughts. These things, not external circumstances, shape your life. To put this principle into practice, start by identifying situations in your daily life that you often worry about but have no control over. For example, you can't change how your boss reacts, but you can change the way you work, the way you respond to criticism or stress. Instead of focusing on complaining about a difficult coworker, you might focus on improving your communication skills or creating a more pleasant work environment for yourself. Another important aspect of focusing on what you can control is self-awareness. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "If you are saddened by something external, the pain comes not from the thing itself, but from your perception of it." This reminds us that the mind is the most powerful tool we have. How you think, how you analyze and process information, can make a huge difference in how you feel and react to situations. Imagine you are in a competition and the result is not as expected. You may feel disappointed, but will blaming yourself or the situation change the outcome? What you can do is learn from the experience, learn from it, and be better prepared for next time. This will not only help you improve, but it will also give you peace of mind, knowing that you did your best within your control. To live by this principle, you also need to practice patience and acceptance. When things don't go your way, instead of reacting unconsciously and feeling frustrated, take a deep breath and ask yourself, what can I do to make this situation better? If nothing happens, learn to let go. This isn't easy, but with time and practice, you'll find your mind becomes calmer and less affected by the chaos outside. Focusing on what you can control also involves managing your emotions. We can't avoid emotions like anger, sadness, or anxiety, but we can learn to manage them. When a difficult situation arises, take a moment to observe your reaction, become aware of it, and then decide how to respond appropriately. Not letting your emotions rule you is an important step to truly taking control of your life. Dear viewers, I invite you to challenge yourself this week. Identify at least one situation where you often feel out of control, and instead of trying to change it, focus on how you react and think. Leave a comment and share your experiences. Do you find yourself feeling less anxious or more confident in facing life? Remember, practicing a Stoic mindset doesn't happen in a day, but small steps will help you build a solid foundation for a peaceful and happy life. Part 2. Practicing patience and endurance. Practicing patience and endurance is one of the basic principles of Stoic philosophy, especially when faced with challenges, difficulties, and the unexpected in life. It is not just about learning to endure, but also about developing patience so that you do not get bogged down in negative emotions or hasty thoughts. Patience is not an inborn quality but a skill that can be practiced and developed over time. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, wrote in his work, Meditations, "When you arise in the morning, remind yourself that today you will encounter angry people, selfish people, and ungrateful people. They cannot upset you unless you let them." This quote reflects the patience and endurance that Marcus practiced throughout his life. He not only endured hardships but also deliberately maintained his composure, viewing every challenge as an opportunity to hone his character. Patience and endurance are not passive or resigned endurance, but the ability to face difficult situations without letting them detract from your sanity and dignity. When you are faced with a problem, it is important not to let negative emotions overwhelm you. This does not mean that you do not feel emotions such as anger or frustration, but how you face and deal with them. It is your response that determines the final outcome. First, we need to understand that hardship and challenges are an inevitable part of life. In fact, in Stoic philosophy, suffering and challenges are not unexpected but part of the natural process that we all go through. This does not mean that we should accept suffering and do nothing, but that we learn to accept it calmly and with self-control. We cannot change the things we cannot control, but we can change how we react to them. A good example of practicing patience in Stoic philosophy is how Epictetus, a famous Stoic philosopher, taught about enduring physical pain. He once said, "Pain is not a bad thing, if you do not regard it as a bad thing." This means that we should not fear or avoid pain, but instead see it as an opportunity for personal growth. When you face difficult situations, instead of trying to avoid them, practice patience to accept and overcome them. Patience is not only demonstrated in big situations, but also in small, everyday actions. For example, when you are under pressure, instead of rushing or panicking, take a deep breath and remind yourself that everything can be solved one step at a time. Patience is the ability to stay calm when everything around you seems chaotic. This helps you avoid making bad decisions due to emotions and create space to find effective solutions. Another way to develop patience is to learn to wait without feeling anxious. In modern life, we often lack patience because everything happens quickly and immediately. We expect immediate success, and when it doesn't happen, we easily feel disappointed. However, Stoicism teaches us that everything takes time. Success, happiness, and peace of mind do not come overnight. What we can do is to continue to persevere, act with purpose, and accept that everything will come when it is time. Stoic patience also involves facing challenges without letting them diminish your inner strength. One of the biggest challenges we face is our lack of control over external factors. While we cannot control other people or circumstances, we can control our reactions. It is patience and endurance in stressful situations that will help you maintain self-control and not lose sight of your goals. Try to see life's challenges as opportunities for personal growth. Difficulties can be a time to practice patience, to learn how to stay calm in the storm. Each time you face an unfavorable situation without being defeated, you become stronger. Patience is not something you can achieve in one try. It is an ongoing process, and it requires you to practice it every day. Dear viewers, if you are struggling with patience, I encourage you to take a moment to think about situations where you can start practicing patience today. Please leave a comment and share with us the challenges you are facing and how you will apply this principle in your life. By practicing patience, you will not only overcome difficulties but also build the inner strength to become the best version of yourself. Part 3: Accept difficulties as part of life. Accepting hardship as a part of life is one of the key principles of Stoic philosophy. It is not simply a matter of enduring or resigning ourselves to it, but rather acknowledging and embracing the fact that life will always contain challenges, and instead of avoiding them, we need to learn to face and learn from them. Stoic philosophy does not encourage us to live in fear or avoid suffering, but rather encourages us to see every situation, whether happy or sad, successful or unsuccessful, as an opportunity to grow. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, said, "It is not what happens to you that makes you miserable, but how you react to it." This quote holds a profound lesson about how we can change our lives simply by changing how we react to hardship. In fact, hardships are inevitable in life, but we can control how we respond to them. What matters is not where the challenges come from, but what we learn from them and how we can use them to shape ourselves. Difficulties in life can come from many directions: the loss of a loved one, failure at work, illness, or simply conflict in a relationship. None of us can live without facing these problems. And whether we like it or not, we cannot avoid them. However, the biggest difference between a person who lives in misery and a person who finds peace in the midst of difficulties is their attitude towards challenges. Stoics understand that these difficulties are not bad, but a natural part of life, and they help us grow. This does not mean that we should rejoice in the face of trials or suffering. We have every right to feel hurt, angry, or disappointed. However, instead of letting these negative emotions dominate our lives, we can use them as tools for learning and growth. Sometimes, it is in our most difficult moments that we find inner strength that we never realized existed. A simple example is when we encounter failure at work. Instead of seeing that failure as a complete end, a Stoic person will see it as an opportunity to learn and improve. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and famous Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "Every trial you face is an opportunity to improve yourself." Failure is not the end, but an opportunity for us to review what we did wrong and learn from those mistakes. Every failure is an opportunity for you to rise up stronger and wiser. At the same time, accepting difficulties also helps us develop inner peace. Instead of seeing challenges as a threat, we can learn to see them as an inevitable part of life. If we accept that life is not always easy, we will be less frustrated and feel helpless when faced with difficulties. This acceptance brings a freedom that prevents us from being imprisoned by worries about things we cannot change. Stoic philosophy teaches us that things beyond our control are not things to worry about. Life's challenges are not the problem, but how we deal with them is. A Stoic knows that suffering is inevitable, but they know how to avoid sinking into endless pain. When life puts you in difficult situations, instead of whining, find a way to stand up and face them with calmness and confidence. Accepting difficulties also means that we no longer look for ways to blame circumstances or other people. Instead of looking for reasons for failure or difficulties, we can focus on how to overcome the situation. This is the key to overcoming the challenges that life brings. When we accept that we cannot change everything, we will learn to change the things we can control, which is ourselves and our attitude towards life. You may also be facing a major hardship, such as the loss of a loved one. Instead of wallowing in sadness and despair, you can see it as an opportunity for spiritual growth. While sadness is an inevitable emotion, you can learn to face it calmly, patiently, and accept that loss is a natural part of life. Losses and hardships will teach you to appreciate life and the people around you. Remember that every challenge you face is not a surprise, but a part of life's journey. When you face a difficulty, instead of trying to avoid it or react negatively, see it as an opportunity to grow and learn. Peace comes from accepting that difficulties are an inevitable part of life, and we cannot change them, but we can change how we react to them. Dear viewers, I invite you to reflect on the challenges you are facing. How can you learn to accept these challenges as a natural part of life? Please leave your thoughts and stories in the comments. Let us share and learn from each other so that we can not only overcome difficulties, but also grow through each challenge that life brings. Part 4. Not being emotionally dependent. In life, we always encounter moments when our emotions completely dominate our actions. It could be anger when we are offended, sadness when we fail, or anxiety when we face challenges. These emotions are a natural part of who we are, but the problem is that when we let these emotions control our actions, they can create undesirable consequences. Therefore, the principle of not being dependent on emotions in Stoic philosophy is an important key to help us live a freer, more peaceful and rational life. Stoic philosophy does not deny emotions, but encourages us not to let emotions control our thoughts and actions. Every emotion, whether joy or pain, is a natural response to our environment. However, when we let our emotions lead us, we can get carried away by the flow of temporary feelings and lose control. And this is why Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of controlling emotions instead of letting them control us. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, wrote in his Meditations, "Emotions are not a reason for action, but a warning to us that there is something in our mind that needs to be considered." This quote shows that emotions are just a sign that lets us be aware of our thoughts and situations in life, but we should not let them control our actions. When we can recognize our emotions without being swept away by them, we will be able to stay calm and clear in any situation. To avoid being emotionally dependent, we need to practice self-awareness. This means that when emotions arise, instead of reacting immediately, we stop for a moment to observe and understand those emotions. We need to learn to recognize our emotions objectively, instead of letting them control our thoughts and actions. When anger arises, stop and ask yourself, why do I feel this way? What about this situation makes me angry? Asking yourself questions and understanding the root cause of your emotions will help you avoid getting caught up in your emotions and stay calm. One of the important tools that Stoic philosophy encourages is the ability to distinguish between what we can control and what we cannot control. Our emotions are part of who we are, but we can control how we respond to them. When faced with a stressful situation, instead of letting our emotions control us, ask yourself, is this within my control? If not, why should I let my emotions control me? If so, then act in the most rational way possible. This distinction helps us reduce anxiety and anger, and helps us act with purpose, not just by the emotions of the moment. A good example of not letting emotions control your actions is when we encounter conflicts in relationships. Maybe you are very angry because of something someone has done, and you want to react immediately. However, according to the Stoic principle, instead of letting anger control you, stop for a moment to think about the consequences of your actions. Will reacting immediately bring good results, or will it only make the situation more tense? Calmness and clarity will help you see the problem objectively and be able to resolve the conflict without harming yourself or those around you. Emotional control does not mean that we have to eliminate emotions from our lives. Emotions are an integral part of the human experience, and we need to learn to accept and understand them. However, it is important not to let emotions control us. When we learn to recognize and manage our emotions, we will be able to maintain inner peace in any situation. In fact, emotional control can be learned over time. Whenever you are faced with a situation that causes strong emotions, try to apply some methods to stay calm. One useful technique is to practice deep, slow breathing. When feelings of anxiety or anger arise, deep breathing helps calm the nervous system and helps you maintain calm. In addition, it is important to focus on the present. Instead of worrying about things that have not happened yet, or obsessing about the past, focus on what you can do right now to control your emotions and actions. Another way to break free from your emotions is to practice positive thinking. When faced with challenges, try to look at them from a different perspective instead of seeing them through a negative lens. Feelings of grief over loss can make you feel hopeless, but you can also see them as an opportunity to grow and find inner peace. Feelings of anxiety about the future can make you feel lost, but you can also see them as an opportunity to make positive changes in your life. Dear viewers, each of us can practice not letting our emotions control our actions. Try applying these principles to your daily life. When you feel yourself being swept up in strong emotions, remember that you can stop, think, and act wisely. We may not be able to control everything, but we can always control how we respond to the world around us. Leave your thoughts on how you manage your emotions and share your stories in the comments. Together, we can learn and grow through every challenge life throws at us. Part 5. Learning to let go. One of the core principles of Stoic philosophy is the ability to learn to let go. This is an important lesson not only in philosophy but also in life. Life is full of things we cannot control, from failures, hurts to things we are too attached to, and one of the important steps to achieving inner peace is to let go of things that do not belong to us, things that are past and cannot be changed. You might think, letting go is easy to say, but hard to do. That's true, because letting go is not an easy thing to do, especially when we are attached to something, a goal, a relationship, or even an idea about life. But the very concept of letting go is the key to living freely and peacefully. The famous Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to us that matters, but how we react to it." These words serve as a reminder that suffering and pain are not the result of circumstances, but rather our failure to let go of our emotions and expectations. When we cling to things we can't change, we make ourselves tired and miserable. Regretting the past, worrying about the future, or beating ourselves up over past mistakes are all futile actions that keep us tied down. Learning to let go in the Stoic philosophy does not mean giving up or not caring about the important things in life. In fact, letting go here is a liberation from useless thoughts, emotions, and expectations so that we can live freely and take control of our lives. When we let go, we are no longer controlled by things we cannot change and can focus on what is truly important, like growing as a person, living in accordance with our values, and building healthy relationships. Think about situations in your life where you felt hurt or disappointed. Maybe it was a relationship breakup, a job rejection, or a failure that you couldn't accept. These emotions are natural, but the problem is that when we can't let go and move on, we get stuck in the past. The more we hold on, the more trapped we feel, unable to move forward. Letting go doesn't mean you forget what happened, it means you learn to accept and forgive yourself. This allows you to move forward without being weighed down by the past. When you learn to let go, you will realize that acceptance is part of the healing process. We cannot change what has happened, but we can change how we react to it. In Stoic philosophy, the important thing is not to change the things around us, but to change how we see and deal with life. Once you let go of excessive control and accept what cannot be changed, you will feel lighter and be at peace with yourself. By letting go, you also learn to not be attached to success or failure. For the Stoics, success is not about the outcome, but about the journey. Focusing on the process, on what you are doing every day, is what matters most. You may achieve your goal, but by being too attached to it, you may miss out on the important values of the journey. Letting go of the obsession with the outcome allows you to enjoy each moment and learn from the challenges, rather than just seeking perfection. Letting go is also about learning to accept yourself. One of the things we often get stuck with is having unrealistic expectations of ourselves. We often set ourselves standards that are too high, and when we don't meet them, we feel like failures. Learn to let go of these expectations and instead accept yourself as a person who is learning and growing. You don't have to be perfect, and that acceptance will help you feel freer and happier. In fact, letting go can be practiced day by day, situation by situation. For example, when you feel angry or frustrated, try stopping for a moment and asking yourself, does this really matter? Can I change it? If not, can I let it go and move on? This question will help you see the problem objectively and help you not get caught up in negative emotions. Similarly, letting go can also be a way to free yourself from things or habits that no longer serve you. We may cling to material things, old hobbies, or past relationships because they provide security or because we have grown accustomed to them. However, letting go of these things can open you up to new experiences, personal growth, and a more fulfilling life. Don't be afraid of change, because change is an opportunity for growth. Dear viewers, letting go is a long and difficult journey. However, once you learn to let go of things that no longer serve you, you will feel lighter and freer. Please share with us your stories and thoughts about letting go in life. Have you had to let go of something difficult in the past? Leave a comment and let's talk about this journey together. I hope you find peace in letting go and continue to live a more fulfilling life. Part 6: Understanding and Empathy. One of the profound values that Stoic philosophy brings us is the ability to understand and empathize with those around us. In this turbulent and difficult world, building empathy not only helps us become better people, but also opens up opportunities for deep connections with others, thereby reducing loneliness and conflict in our lives. In Stoic philosophy, empathy is not just an act of goodwill, but also an important element in character training and spiritual growth. We cannot live in a world full of other people and only think about ourselves. Empathy is not agreement, but the ability to perceive the feelings, pain, and challenges of others without judgment or imposition. It is an ability that is essential to building truly meaningful relationships, thereby improving the quality of our own lives. Epictetus, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, once said, "We cannot help others unless we understand them, and we cannot understand them unless we see the world through their eyes." This emphasizes that to truly help others, we must understand their circumstances and feelings, and remove our ego so that we are not clouded by judgment. We need to learn to put ourselves in the shoes of others, see the world through their eyes, and deeply empathize with them. Imagine one day, you meet someone who is going through difficulties, maybe in work, love or family. Instead of just giving advice or solutions, it is important that you try to be quiet for a moment and listen to them. Listen not only with your ears, but with your heart and genuine concern. You may not be able to change their situation, but your presence, understanding and listening will be the best medicine to comfort them. And that is also how you practice empathy in your daily life. Understanding others does not mean you have to go through the same pain or challenges as them, but it does mean accepting that each person has their own unique circumstances and perspectives. We cannot always fully understand why someone behaves the way they do, but understanding is not about judging, but about understanding and helping. When you empathize with others, you not only make them feel valued, but you also help yourself grow. We may imagine ourselves as the center of the universe, but in reality, the world does not revolve around us. When you understand and empathize with others, you realize that everyone around you has a story, a challenging life that you can learn from. This helps you broaden your perspective, reduce your ego, and become more humble. Stoicism also teaches us that we cannot change the actions of others, but we can change our own responses. Understanding and empathy does not mean always agreeing with others, but rather knowing how to see and evaluate things from multiple perspectives. This will not only help you resolve conflicts in your life more effectively, but also build more peaceful and lasting relationships. Empathy is not limited to personal relationships, but can be applied to all situations in life. At work, at home, and even in larger social situations, when you have the ability to understand others, you will find it easier to find reasonable solutions and cooperate effectively. This not only helps you stay calm and composed in all situations, but also builds a positive environment where everyone feels respected and understood. Empathy is not a weakness, but an invisible force that connects people together. It is the key to maintaining sincere and lasting relationships. Anyone who feels understood and appreciated will automatically tend to open up, share and help you. It is a positive spiral where everyone receives comfort and support from each other. You can start practicing understanding and empathy by doing simple but meaningful things. For example, in a conversation, instead of just talking about yourself, ask the other person how they feel about the difficulties they are going through. Try to listen without judging, without rushing to give advice. Sometimes, simple things like this make a big difference in your relationship. Dear audience, have you ever experienced moments when you felt like no one understood you? Think back, have you missed opportunities to understand others? Please share your feelings and stories with us in the comments section. We can learn and grow together through each conversation. May you find joy and peace in understanding and empathizing with those around you. Part 7. Always learn and develop yourself. One of the most important principles of Stoic philosophy is the constant learning and development of oneself. The ability to improve ourselves and train our minds and souls not only helps us face the difficulties in life, but is also the key to living a more fulfilling and meaningful life. Every day is a new opportunity for us to learn, expand our knowledge, and develop ourselves in the best way possible. Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "We cannot control what happens to us, but we can control how we react to it." It is a reminder that instead of worrying about things we cannot change, we should focus on improving ourselves every day, thereby enhancing our ability to face and handle any situation in life. Learning is not just about acquiring knowledge from books or lectures, but also about listening and learning from life around us. Every experience, whether successful or unsuccessful, contains valuable lessons that we can learn to enrich our luggage. Sometimes, the biggest failures in life are the valuable lessons that help us grow and become stronger. You have probably encountered challenges in life that made you want to give up. But if you look at them from a different perspective, you will see that these challenges are opportunities for you to learn and grow. We can never know everything, but we always have the ability to choose how to react and learn from those situations. This is the practice of Stoicism in life. An important part of learning is accepting that we are never perfect and can always do better. In fact, when we think we have reached a certain level, it is time to step back and ask ourselves if there is still room for improvement. Personal development is a never-ending process, a never-ending journey. Every day is a new opportunity to improve. Philosopher Seneca said, "To live a life worth living is not to do great things, but to do small things in a great way." This emphasizes that personal development does not necessarily have to be about big steps or sudden changes. Sometimes, just small but continuous changes in the way you think, behave, and look at life are enough to make a big difference. Self-improvement does not always have to be something flashy, but it is about you persistently learning, experimenting, and correcting mistakes. When it comes to learning and personal development, it is important to be open to feedback and criticism. Sometimes, it can be painful to hear negative comments, but if viewed positively, these criticisms can be a valuable tool in helping us identify areas for improvement. Learning to listen and accept feedback is how we can learn and improve. It is also important to remember that learning is not just about theoretical knowledge, but also about applying what you have learned in practice. When you read a good book or take a course, you do not simply absorb information, but also need to practice what you have learned. These lessons will help you solve real-life problems and enrich your thinking and approach to situations. In Stoic philosophy, learning is not limited to intellectual development, but also includes spiritual development. Philosopher Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Live as a learner, for life is full of lessons and opportunities for improvement." This emphasizes that it is not only academic knowledge that helps us grow, but also lessons in patience, serenity, compassion, and emotional self-control that are important. Learning and growth are not just about knowing, but also about doing and demonstrating. One way to maintain personal growth is to set specific and clear goals. Goals are the motivation to keep you moving forward, helping you overcome temptations and challenges. However, when setting goals, you need to remember that sometimes the road to your goals is not always smooth. You may encounter many failures along the way, but those failures are lessons that help you grow. Remember that learning is a never-ending journey, and there are endless opportunities for you to grow along the way. Never think that you know enough, because it is the humility in learning that will open up new horizons for you. Dear audience, have you ever asked yourself, are you learning enough? Are you really trying to develop yourself in the way you want? Take some time to think about this and share with us the self-development strategies that you are applying in your life. Together, we can learn and improve every day. Conclude. In the journey of life, continuous learning and self-development is an indispensable principle if we want to achieve inner peace and reach a full life. Stoic philosophy always emphasizes the importance of self-improvement, not only in terms of wisdom, but also in terms of character and the ability to face life's challenges. It is through continuous learning, challenging ourselves, and applying lessons into practice that we not only improve our ability to live, but also create a meaningful and peaceful life. Remember, nothing in life is set in stone, and it is the small but consistent changes that lead to great results. When you keep learning, every failure becomes an opportunity, every challenge is a step closer to maturity. Together with the principles of Stoic philosophy, we can become the best version of ourselves. If you find these principles useful and want to continue your journey of learning and self-development, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos on Stoicism and valuable life lessons. We are always sharing new content to help you improve your mind and yourself every day. Please hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. We look forward to being with you on this journey. Thanks for watching and see you in the next videos.